Welcome to another Full Curl Fitness Friday where we put and keep sheep hunters on the mountain. Hey, everybody. Today we're going to continue our series about diet. We've already done when to eat. Now we're going to cover what, and next week we're going to cover how much. So, today I just kind of want to cover some key concepts when we look at nutrition. There are three main macronutrients. Those three main macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Proteins, there are different guidance on proteins, some things to keep in mind. Proteins are like a Lego house, and the individual blocks that make up proteins are called amino acids. There are 21 amino acids that are essential to the human body. And so, my only point in this is there's one protein, albumin, that comes from eggs that has all 21, and that's called an essential, or excuse me, that's called a complete protein. All of the other proteins do not have all 21. That's okay, but what it means is you need to have a variety of protein sources. It's not really good to eat the same thing every day, all the time. You should mix up your protein sources to get different amino acids. That being said, when it comes to protein, there's different guidance on how much protein to get. The recommended minimum by US dietary standards is zero point 0.7 grams per kilogram of body weight. Um, some people kind of conflate and confuse that with being a recommended amount. However, the best way to read that is, for the love of God, at least get this much. Some people get as aggressive as 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. And I don't think that's a mistake. I think especially if you don't have kidney problems, I don't think there's a great rationale that there's a huge problem associated with being that aggressive. But certainly anywhere from zero point 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per lean ideal body weight is probably a reasonable place to shoot for protein. It can be difficult to get that from your diet, so sometimes from whole foods, I should say. So sometimes supplementation helps with that. Just look for quality sources. So that being said, that's proteins. Fats, there's a lot of different sources of fats, trans fats, a lot of problems associated with them. Fortunately, they have mostly been banned, and that's not really a problem. And people that make things tend not to put trans fats in them anymore. So, that being said, you have saturated versus unsaturated fats. Things like avocado oil, olive oil are preferred for cooking. There's some controversy with seed oils and things like that. I just try and stay away from them because I know avocado and coconut and olive oil are really healthy cooking alternatives. Fats from dairy, from meats, nuts, avocado, things like that are reasonable. Probably don't go out of your way to eat tons and tons of butter and highly processed meats, but that's not the end of the world if you have some of that. But again, better off to use better quality sources of fats, especially when you're cooking. When we go to carbohydrates, there's two main delineations. Those delineations are simple carbohydrates and complex. Easy way to think about it, your complex carbohydrates are things that don't quickly break down into sugar, like, for example, vegetables. So you can eat vegetables till the cows come home, not really going to have a lot of weight problems associated with that. Also, I would argue that they're just really healthy, lots of vitamins, lots of fiber, really good things for you to be eating. That said, your simple carbohydrates can be more problematic. Things like alcohol, rice, pasta, potatoes, bread, anything with sugar in it, those can be challenges for your metabolic health, can raise your blood sugar, cause body fat deposition. So, all else equal, simple carbohydrates are things we want to minimize because that will help you maintain a healthy body weight. Really can't go too wrong by eating fats, proteins, and lots of vegetables and some fruits. I think that's pretty solid recommendation, especially if you're going with healthier fat sources. On the dairy side, specifically, things like yogurt, Greek yogurt, really great source of protein and fat. So when you take this general framework, you can add that into our previous intermittent fasting framework, and that's a really solid diet protocol to move forward with. Again, if you enjoy what I'm doing, feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week to talk about how much to eat. Thanks, and have a good day.